All right, was it episode 5?
Episode 5.
Cool. Episode 5 of Caffeine, Carbs, and Kilos. I think let's just hop into it because Skylar got to have some fun. Went up and saw Brooks and Dunn last night. They're getting old, but apparently still put on a good show.
Yeah, it was so Ronnie Dunn. It was his birthday
Wow.
last night. So it was a really good concert. I think they went longer than a normal one just because it was his birthday. But the openers are what I was hyped about. So I mentioned Megan Maroney. You said you didn't kind of know yet, but she's fairly new in the country music scene. But her song "Tennessee Orange" is number 5 on the charts right now. And then someone who has a song that's number 2, Scotty McCreery.
Yeah.
I believe "It Matters to Her" maybe is number 2 on the charts. So it was just crazy concert with 2 huge openers and just had a lot of fun with the fam. So
I remember there was a concert I went to where the opener was better than the concert itself.
Yeah.
Or one of them, because a couple years ago, by that I mean probably 4 or 5. I'm getting old. Some years ago, Luke Bryan was out at like Bennett's Farm outside of Lincoln, but one of his openers was John Pardee.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and John Pardee to me is more. I don't know. He's got more twang in his voice. Kind of sounds a little more country. Sings a little more country than like
authentic, maybe
Luke Bryan does. So like, John Pardee he was the last opener, so we actually got like a full hour set.
Jeez.
And Luke Bryan didn't even come out till like 11 or 11:30. By that time, I'm like, all right,
and did like 30 minutes or something.
I don't remember because I was pretty capped out after that. Like
That's late.
I know, and like he didn't come out till 11, and so I'm like, you know what, Luke Bryan's okay, but it's not my scene. Yeah. I liked John Pardee quite a bit, and then like I heard a couple of his songs on the radio, but I'm like, it's just I'm good.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was with me. I think it was my dad, but I'm like, yeah, we can go.
Yeah, we can dip out.
So it's always funny because like I swear the openers try and put on a better show than the actual like
main headliner.
Yeah, thank you. The headliner does. Now that's not saying like the headliners don't put on a good show, but like the openers, they're openers because maybe they're trying to be up and coming. So
I think they're trying to get out there and show what they're about.
So they got to be a little better. I would almost feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked Megan Maroney, and she wasn't even really marketed as or advertised as an opener, but I kind of heard that she was going to be there, so I was surprised because she's just huge right now in the scene. And she only did about 4 songs, and I could have stayed there just to watch all of hers. I mean, she's so good.
Fair. I'll say there's been there was a decent amount back in like the 2000s of female country artists, and then kind of went away for a short time, and then I think we've seen a pretty large uptick in female country artists coming back and like actually making a good name for themselves.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge like female country artist fan, but
I'm not either. But like you look back in like 2000, like Miranda Lambert had like a chokehold on the country music scene, and right now I think Lainey Wilson's kind of doing the same thing. That could be for other social media reasons, but like that doesn't need to discuss. But yeah, I also think it's kind of cool because then actually gets a little bit more. I don't know. I don't want to say diverse topics, but at the same time, like it's not all just male country.
Yeah, I agree. I love it too. I mean, what Megan Maroney's doing, and just she's only 25, 26 years old. I mean, she's so young and already making a huge impact.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some interesting people, when you go to a concert and you see just some weird crap going on.
Yeah, that and like a lot of people like country music, and then they strap on their boots and fake hats and hope for the best that they never wear.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a hat and boots, and I was like, I'm not gonna wear it because everyone else usually, the real country people got their beat up boots and their hat and whatever. But I just wore some Carhartt overalls that I got that I like with the white shirt.
Enough.
But there's this guy in front of me, sitting in front of us, and I like could see him like Snapchatting people, and he pulled up with his buddy like super late. They did not look like they were having a good time. Like barely talked, didn't really sing or whatever. Midway through like Scotty McCreery, he's like typing on his phone and like sending a Snapchat, and he's like, the opening act is making suicide seem like a decent option. I'm like, what?
Oh my god.
Isn't that insane?
What?
And it was a good, like, Scotty McCreery.
All right.
I was like shocked. I'm like, what? Like, who is this guy?
People.
And it was like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he didn't look like a weird guy or anything. Like, he was super, like, jacked, like, buff, like, somewhat country, like, full beard, like, and then he just said that, and I was like, what?
All right. I would say, I know, like, now there's been also a rise in country artists and a rise in, like, people that are annoyed with the state of country and, like, what it sounds like.
Right.
But, like, at the same time, I mean, you kind of have to keep with the times a little bit, but at the same time, like, that goes a little far.
Yeah.
Like, I am all for, like, the Tyler Childers, Coulter Wall, Zach Bryan. There's one more I'm losing, but, like, I'm all for that kind of country, too. But, like, that's a different kind of country. Like, I have a specific playlist on my Spotify. One of them's just, like, my regular, like, just kind of, I call it, like, beer drinking country.
Yeah.
And then I have a separate playlist called whiskey drinking country. Like, that's where the Tyler Childers and Coulter Wall stuff goes, because, like, that's just a different vibe.
It is. So I like Zach Bryan, and he's more of kind of like a newer country, just a little bit different, but I like him. And I was looking at tickets. His are just as much as Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, Zach Bryan got really popular really quickly. Like
$400 for general admission, just like Morgan Wallen tickets.
Yeah. On that note too, Morgan Wallen can put out some decent songs, but I don't like where he's gone recently. Hot take.
Well, what's his most recent one? Last Night? Is that his most?
Yeah, the album's one thing at a time.
Right. He put out like 30 songs in that thing.
Yeah. But like they're definitely not quite as country as like he used to be.
I feel like he's trying to keep up. I mean, that country is changing, you know? Like, I used to not like old style country, and I like the newer stuff, but the more I listen to it, I like the older stuff, so it's just like weird.
Yeah, I like when I first started listening to like Zach Bryan and like older Morgan Wallen, I like found myself going back almost to like George Strait and a couple like that, and like Brooks and Dunn too, like where it was that 90s and 2000s country where it's different. But like on that same note with Morgan Wallen, I think he's kind of, like I said, kept up with the times. And if you look at like Taylor Swift, she was country and went pop.
Right.
And kind of tries to combine them, and her fan base got so large because she did have both.
Huge.
She does have both. And so I think Morgan Wallen's trying to do something similar, and it's obviously working.
Yeah.
It's just I know people are getting a little upset on the state of his country music now.
Yeah. Well, that and all this stuff about him being on vocal arrest and whatnot, like some people think it's BS, and some people think he's like actually like, you know, hurt his vocals. But
I'll say, I mean, if you have, at the same time though, like I can kind of understand it, because during that whole thing earlier where he got canceled, he wasn't performing, wasn't really singing for like a year or two. And so I feel like if you launch yourself into a massive tour like that without like that kind of vocal training over that last, year or so, you might end up happening.
Well, so Bailey Zimmerman, his opener, who is also very huge right now, he was getting like a bunch of backlash because he just started like voice cracking and like was terrible at a concert one time.
I heard that one, yeah.
And he went and was super nice about it, like was just kind of like apologized and said, with a smile on his face, like he's learning and he's getting better, and was going on to the next day. I mean, like you mentioned, being someone who hasn't done it for a couple years, but like someone who has never done it, like imagine how hard that would be.
Oh yeah, it'd be terrifying stepping on stage. And like if
everybody sucks at first.
100%. And if you're used to like recording in a studio where you have like your sound deadened walls, you have the music and the backing track with the chords in your ear, it's a whole lot easier to stay on pitch than like people screaming at you and you just have earplugs in. You can't hear the rest of your backing track.
Like, you're moving around, you're sweating, your heart rate's amped up, and you're like out of breath. And yeah,
I would say because his studio albums, I mean, they're fantastic.
I mean, even like Brooks and Dunn, you know, they're older, and like, I mean, they were out there like back to back songs like for an hour and a half. Like I just didn't know how do you do that?
Yeah,
they're great. Neon Moon was nuts.
Yeah, that's fair. Similarly, what was I gonna say? Gosh, it was something else. People getting older. Oh yeah, like Rolling Stones. They were touring until recently. They're in their fucking 70s and 80s.
My God.
I don't know how they're still alive, first of all.
Well, I went to Journey and Toto, and they were about, one of them looked like, I think it was Toto that looked like Einstein, like just full on, like all white, like hair, and just, I don't know. Guess they just got it in them. Got that dog in them.
I suppose it works. If you've been doing it long enough, I mean, I'm sure they have trainers and they have people that try and keep them a semblance of in shape to be able to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still wild.
Yeah.
I guess while we've been on the country thing for a while, what was your first concert you went to?
So, gosh, my first concert, I think, was Khalid in high school. And then I didn't really go to many concerts until I got to college, and then I just started going to a ton. I would say my favorite, my favorite country concert. I did go to Luke Combs. That was really good.
Yeah.
He was just like fun, like just like shotgunning beers and he would let all of his like his guitarist or his band like sing songs too. Like,
yeah.
So I thought that was cool because a lot of them just kind of toss out their name at the end or whatever, but he would actually let them sing a cover or something.
That's pretty sick. So, and then I've heard he, especially during One Too Many, he'll shotgun a beer on stage. And I think
he's ridiculously fast.
Oh yeah, I've seen so many TikToks. He did one just recently that I saw with
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yep, what's his name?
The kind of like
Ed Sheeran. Yeah. Jesus, that one.
Ed Sheeran.
Someone's gonna be mad about me forgetting that name. I saw one with him where he taught him how to do it, and he was half the time it took Ed Sheeran. And Ed Sheeran didn't actually take that long.
Yeah, he kind of, and it was like his first time ever too. He's like, Luke Combs gonna teach me how to shoot. He's like, shotgun.
Yeah, and it's incredible. I mean, literally just popped up and gone.
What two guys have together doing that though too? It's like,
I don't know.
Luke Combs just shotgunning beers. Yeah.
What'd you say your favorite concert was?
Oh, I was gonna say my favorite country was Luke Combs, but gosh, I mean, I've been to like Snoop Dogg and
was that the Snoop Dogg and Wiz concert a year or so ago?
On 420.
Wait, that was only
it was a year ago.
Okay, thank God. I was thinking that was just like a few weeks ago, and I was gonna go crazy.
Yeah, no,
I'm pretty sure it was a year ago.
Oh my God!
Okay,
that was sweet. He just did like a bunch of covers, and like I could relate to a lot of his songs, and he was just fun with it. The Baby was probably the worst concert I've ever been to.
Really?
Yeah, it was terrible.
That's fair.
Just wasn't good.
He's done a lot of features, and he has honestly, I think he has some decent rhymes and decent verses. On features, but I don't know how well he's
a good performer, and then there's just girls on stage dancing, and that's really all it was. Russ, I went to Russ, if you know who that is.
Oh yeah,
that was my favorite concert ever. I've been listening to Russ for so long. It was out in Colorado. It was a summer jam, I think they called it.
Okay.
And so there was there was a lineup of 10 artists, and Russ was last. It was outside at this amphitheater.
Is that a Red Rocks or someone?
It wasn't else? Red Rocks, but it was a little bit down the road. I'm trying to. I don't know.
So yeah, because I know Russ, and I think I follow him on TikTok just because he's funny. I don't know. He just seems normal.
Oh yeah, no, he's a big, just chill dude, huge just influencer on a lot of topics. Some people don't like him for some of his views, but gosh, his music's so good. And I knew every when you go to a concert and you know every single line to each song, that was the case, and so I just had so much fun.
I would say mine my concert like that, I went to Brantley Gilbert when I was 15. And I'd been listening to him at that point for a couple of years. That was really fun. Otherwise, my first concert, my mom used to work for the radio station here in town for Froggy 98.
Oh, nice.
And she won tickets to Dierks Bentley.
Oh.
This was in 7th grade. I'm not even that old. This might show my age a little bit because it was at the Pershing Center, which doesn't even, you can't do anything anymore. They took the mosaic off already.
Yep.
But yeah, my first concert was Dierks Bentley at the Pershing Center when I was in like 6th or 7th grade.
I remember that place.
That was a lot of fun. I remember I went home and I asked my mom to buy me a couple Dierks Bentley CDs because I was in that age where I grew up on the radio and CD players, and then as I got older, I had iPods, but like I was in that weird middle where I had to ask my mom. Yeah, I had to ask my mom to buy me CDs so I could burn it to iTunes and then have my little MP3 player and burn it onto those.
Yep, my brother did that.
Otherwise, I guess I haven't really been to too many concerts. I mean, I don't know. I like the idea of concerts, but like when I think about it, I don't really want to spend the money and go, which is unfortunate because they're always fun when I go.
Well, this past one, it was just like a family thing. My dad randomly bought our whole family tickets, and so I'm like, all right,
cool,
go to a concert. And then we didn't even know who the openers were, and then we figured that out. And we're like, this is awesome. And he also got us. We're going to Doobie Brothers in August.
That'll be good.
Yeah, and that's at Pinewood Bowl. So
I remember. Oh, there was one concert I went to at Pinewood Bowl. It was Toby Keith. That was actually fun. Yeah, that's another one of those older country artists where I knew some of his songs, but like, the popular ones that are always on the radio.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't know some of his other niche ones because like I'll listen to his popular songs, but I wasn't like a in-depth Toby Keith guy.
Yeah.
I remember that one pretty well, I guess. One I kind of wish I would have went to is when Suicide Boys was at PBA.
Ooh.
I heard people had a lot of fun at that one.
There's been so many that I just regret missing. I hear how crazy they are.
I would say,
right, especially when it's like in Lincoln, it's right down the street. It's like, oh, I could have tossed $100 to have a fun night. Because
when they put up PBA, I mean, I remember when they were talking about building it, and it was definitely refreshing to have that over anywhere else.
Oh yeah. It's just, I mean, tickets are so expensive these days. You used to be able to go to a concert for like $60-$70.
I know.
General admission, and now we got $400 Zach Bryan tickets. Like, really?
The only one, I think the concert I regret the most in my life not going to is Garth Brooks' stadium tour when he was here. I should have went. But I didn't want to spend the money. I should have went.
Here's the thing is, so I didn't go to the actual concert, but they had a sound check the night before.
Right, yeah.
Which was basically a concert. It was only open to students. Okay. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it was only open to students, but students could go for free.
Yeah. I was saying that was August of 21, and I graduated in May of 21.
Oh, dude, it was insane. Like, it was basically like a concert. And there was only, I mean, we were right there. I think I was like 4 rows back from the stage on the floor. And they had bleach. They think it tapped at 3,000 people for like, just like on the floor there. Only about 1,000 showed up.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
I'll say if you have the option, especially as a student, to go to a free concert, not only a free concert, free Garth Brooks concert, who is the highest selling country artist of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I know
the stadium tour is just, no one does that.
Yeah. I remember seeing pictures, the stage in the middle, and he sold out Memorial was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Just being all red and, oh, gosh. That was really cool. And the fact that they made it like you could drink or whatever.
Yeah, and I think what was even funnier is that was when like the board of directors realized, wow, if we sold alcohol, even like limit 2 beers at football games, we're gonna make a lot of money because they ran out of beer, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so that volleyball game that's gonna be at Memorial.
Yeah.
They just reopened it, I think, for either yesterday or maybe it's next week. Or they're opening it for more seats because they sold out within like 48 hours. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 2 days. Yeah, but
yeah,
like fast. And so they just opened it up to get more, and I want to go so bad. I mean, that's just such a monumental thing.
Well, that was just so. I love it. It's the greatest thing ever. It was just so fucking petty of us. And that was the greatest thing ever because we set the record last season.
Yep.
Wisconsin took it back. And then we're like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're just going to go in the stadium, sell out all 89,000 seats, including, I hope, floor seats. Mm-hmm. And then you can...
That's what they just opened up was floor.
Yeah, and you can bump that 90,000 plus, and I don't know who would ever beat that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just a crazy... I mean, we took our best sport, not even arguably, like that is our best sport right
100%,
now.
Yep.
In our biggest stadium.
Yep.
I mean, it's like a no-brainer. It's awesome.
Absolutely. I was saying, I remember when they announced it, I'm like, oh, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Because I remember seeing on social media, like, we broke the record. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then I saw Wisconsin broke it. I'm like, well, fuck, how are we going to do that? Because the Vanny's damn near full. Like, people are up in the rafters standing, watching.
Yeah, it's not very big, too. I mean,
I'll say it's an older.
It's a very nice place, but it's just not huge. Like, it's capped.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
And it's the same thing. Wisconsin's really good at volleyball, so that makes sense for them. And I'm sure they probably had a little bit larger of a venue. Because they beat us by a couple thousand.
Oh, yeah.
And then we just said, fuck you, let's put it in the stadium.
Yeah, let's beat it by 40,000.
I guess while we're on the topic, too, of like Husker sports, we can go into Husker baseball a little bit. Kind of the unfortunate woes of what just happened. But I think the Bolt era has been steadily growing over the last couple of years. And I think because Bolt came on, a little after Frost or a little around the same time?
I want to say a little after, but I don't know. I'm not super close on baseball, but
I'm not huge into baseball, but like I'll follow Husker baseball a little bit. Anyway, like he's actually been able to stay and build a program that we all wish Husker football would.
No, seriously.
And like it's been wild to see us steadily just get a little bit further and further closer to the College World Series. And the unfortunate thing that happened against Maryland, but then the game right before that too was absolutely crazy, where we shut them out 4-0, and Will Walsh had a ridiculous game.
What do they call that? Like a no?
I'll say it wasn't a no-hitter because he had hits,
but contest or something. I don't even know.
That. Yeah, I don't remember.
But they said that was the first time in like program history in the Big Tens that someone had done that.
That's nuts.
Like in the Big Ten championships.
Yeah. What's even crazier is that he pitched all 9 innings.
I know.
Pitched all 9 innings, and then, which is also unfortunate going into the next game, because then he's got to sit. And
we needed him.
Yeah. But, I mean, it happens.
It makes me feel better that Maryland won, because then like we can just say that we lost to them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because they were the only team we lost to in the tournament. Twice, but...
Well, yeah, but I mean, at least it's the same team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they won, so it makes us look pretty good.
Yeah.
I would say we got like...
I was saying we almost rallied there at the end, so almost winning. Yeah, it's almost. I don't really want to say almost had it because of this, but at the same time, almost rallied against the team that beat us twice, and then the team that won. I mean...
Oh, they almost threw it. I could taste it. They threw in that one pitcher at the end that walked 3 of our guys in a row, and... bases loaded, no outs. I mean, you're just laughing. You're like, wow, they really just kind of pissed it away.
You're really trying here.
Yeah, but it wasn't meant to be.
It happens.
Super excited for the program, though, the way it's going.
Oh, yeah.
Like you said, Bolt and his kid just being out there. And
that was funny. He's got some nice hair.
They had a graphic of him, like, asking him questions, and apparently he was out there signing autographs.
Oh, wow.
But, like, they're asking him questions, like, favorite food and all this stuff in the graphic, and it was like girlfriend, like, whatever.
No comment.
No comment.
You should throw that up.
That's so funny.
I know.
How old is he even?
I think he was like 9.
Yeah, he's like not even 10, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think, and it's really nice too, because the same thing that happened with Matt Rule is like this entire state and like our athletic fans will embrace like every facet of your family.
Yeah,
and so I think that's really cool too.
I think so. I think that kid's gonna be a hell of a ball player too.
Yeah,
when he's older.
Yeah. Gosh, we've been talking about just country conference and a little bit of Husker.
We're all of a sudden
Husker ball here. Let's
We're just a Nebraska podcast.
You know what? We live in Nebraska. Speaking of Nebraska, it's getting hot outside. That can bring me a little bit into some stuff here at the gym. I know it's always an issue every summer, and I mean, I wish there was something better we could do about it. But like, we've asked the landlord every summer to let us put an HVAC system in here and just do AC, but it's always just, oh, it's too expensive. It's this and that and this, and we ended up just, there's those single unit ACs just kind of hanging on the wall. We got big fans. And I mean, the issue with those is like everyone loves during the summer to have the door open because Nebraska's windy. So it's always nice to get airflow, but at the same time, like if you want it a little bit cooler in here, those fans and AC units will get cool eventually. You just got to leave the door shut. And that's what's tough. Like for me, and this gym will get cool. It will take a day. Like if you let the AC units and the fans run with the door shut, it'll get cooler in here. Because like down in the staff lounge, we've had just a single box fan running for a couple days, and I shut the door every time. And every time you walk in there, it's always cooler in the gym.
Yeah.
So and that's just a single fan. And now granted, it's only like a 15 by 15 room, but a single 2 by 2 fan just running. It got cool in there. So if we leave the door shut and turn the AC units on and everything, it will get cool in the gym. It'll just take a little bit. And like it's just one of those things. Like we can either have the garage door open or we can leave all those fans running. I can't do both.
We should put up like a question on the story or something just to see what people would rather have. Because I mean, I feel like that's kind of goes both ways. I mean, I get it wanting to have it open, and if you do, you can't really complain about the heat.
I know. I mean, I can have the door open and have all the fans running, but I can have the door open, all the fans running, and I can't have the AC units running. Like that's just
seems like a waste. Yeah.
And like we have a couple big fans that all set up for sure, but then you just got to understand it's either fans and AC or fans and door.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the unfortunate circumstances that this gym is built without being able to have AC installed.
Yeah. I feel like it's understandable.
I would hope so. I mean, you're at a gym, like you're here to work, you're gonna sweat regardless. Yeah. Now, me personally, I'm not a huge fan of sitting behind the desk trying to do work and sweating, but like it's not that bad. And like there are plenty of other gyms like this that don't have AC. There's one Corrupted Strength down in Houston, one of the better powerlifting gyms down there. They don't have AC. The warehouse is black. The walls are painted black, and they're in Houston.
Yikes.
So, I mean, like, yeah, Nebraska can get humid and it gets warm here, but at least we're not in Houston in a black warehouse.
I mean, I just think it's cool. Like, I mean, not all gyms have the ability to have, like, a big garage door open like ours does, or, like, doors to a back area where you can get some cardio in and be out there on the turf. So, I think, I don't know. I think I enjoy it. It's an advantage, I think.
Yeah, and it's always nice, too, to have natural light. I think that's the biggest thing.
Just being outside in fresh air too.
Yeah, 100%. On that same note too, while it's getting hot, we can talk a little bit about like water and making sure you're staying hydrated.
Hydrating.
We say as we're drinking energy drinks. I mean, water is so key to so many things, and staying hydrated makes you feel so much better. Like I'm trying to cut out caffeine, except for like a low stim pre-workout and just drink water all the time. Because I used to do it when I was doing like tree work. That was what I would do in the morning. I would have like a cup of coffee in the morning. I would drink water throughout the day, and a single cup of coffee too, not like a 300 milligram energy drink.
Right.
And then water throughout the day, and then just like a low stim pre-workout before my workout. And sometimes I wouldn't even take it, and I would feel fine. And like there's so many nuanced things that, like I don't know enough about that I could go in about why water is like super helpful for that and why hydration is super important. But like just your normal day-to-day energy and like feeling alive, I've noticed, like because I've started now that it's getting warmer, and while I'm eating a little cleaner, trying to cut out alcohol, less caffeine, and trying to drink a gallon of water a day, even just a gallon of water every day, I feel better. Yeah. Like I have more energy once. So I try and do 32 ounces before I even get here.
Right.
And just even doing that, I wake up a lot quicker.
That's good.
So
natural caffeine.
Something like that. But yeah, just kind of being hydrated, I think, helps your energy levels. One, while it's getting hot in Nebraska, you're going to want to stay hydrated anyway. And then it's also huge for like metabolism and like actually because your body needs water to function. And so if you don't give it enough,
being consistent too. You know, if you are getting that gallon a day like you're working at, like if you're doing that every day, your body's going to function a lot more higher than there you go.
Down here.
A lot more higher than if you fluctuate from that, you know. And your butt, like if you don't hit that, like if you hit that consistently for like a few months and then all of a sudden you don't, you're going to feel that.
Oh yeah.
So
I'll say, because I remember the last time I was doing something like that, and I was doing tree work at the time, and so I was always in the heat working hard, but like I would do a gallon a day. And then when I stopped doing tree work, I was doing a gallon and a half a day, I suppose. When I stopped doing tree work, I still tried to do a gallon, but there were a couple of days where I definitely didn't hit that mark, and I definitely did not feel as good. And I think that's when I really started bumping my caffeine consumption just a tad. So yeah, water's important. And I guess water, summer, we can talk a little bit too about like the success of our summer special that we ran.
Oh yeah.
Huge hit. I think y'all absolutely loved that, and I think that was fantastic for us too. So I mean, glad that everyone's here, and like glad that it was a success to see y'all train with us this summer and kind of enjoy the gym that, you know, a lot of other people do, especially while college kids that stay in Lincoln will stay with us. And then, you know, if they do want to go back to the rec come September, then I guess it is what it is. But sometime you get 3 months here, people can fall in love with it and hopefully stay anyway.
There's just so many benefits though, like to being here versus at the rec. I mean, it's always crowded.
Yeah.
And like you don't really feel comfortable. Like it's kind of awkward. Like you can't take your shirt off. You can't be yourself. You can't, you know, blast music in there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a lot more open and a lot more freedom here.
I'll say I might be able to send you a video too if I ask him. There's a dude at the gym. He hadn't squatted heavy in a while, and he was trying to do a set of 5 with 405, and you know, it's something he's done before, but it had been a couple months since he did it.
Yeah.
And then like he had 3 or 4 people around him. I think one of them might have been new. They were all yelling at him to just keep going.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean,
you wouldn't get that anywhere.
Not at all. So I think that's what's even better, is that like motivational, like family aspect. I think is super cool. That's why I've stayed here for 2.5 years. Why I'm working here currently. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of like the game recognized game, you know, and you support everyone.
100%.
You know, no matter what it is, you could be, you know, you're going for a, you know, 145 or 135 squat, and someone else is going for 500. Like either way, someone's going to be there to support you.
100%. And
whatever you're at. So
not only that, like if you're at that point and you're just wanting to be better, and you see someone doing that, that's going to make you want to keep working at it. That was a big thing when I came here originally, back in November of 2020. I just kind of did my own thing. I lifted. I don't remember what time I lifted. Probably later at night or in the afternoon. There's hardly anybody here. And then about a couple months in, there was someone front squatting 405 for doubles, and I was doing back squats, like sets of 2 or 3 through 385.
Yeah.
I was back squatting less than they were front squatting. Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's another thing that's super nice, is no matter where you are, the people here are always super nice and willing to help motivate you. And it's also motivating for yourself just to be around it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, is like just how, like we're talking about how open everyone is. You know, people aren't afraid to talk and get to know you and give you advice or just chat for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, other places are so zoned, you know, got headphones in, not looking anywhere, just trying to get in and get out. But here it's definitely more of a family, like you said. So
I was saying it's also really nice too, because like we have music playing downstairs, so if you forget your headphones, it's a lot easier to talk to someone then too, because you got music playing. You see someone else, so like even if it's just simple as like, hey, are you listening to this? Can I cue up a song?
Yeah.
And then the next time you see him, you'll remember you talked to him. You'll say hey, and then the next time you see him, you're like, hey, what are you doing today? And it's just kind of go from there. I mean, that's how I made a couple of the friends here that I have. It's super simple, but it works.
Yeah. I find like new music too all the time, since we have that aspect of where you can just go up to the iPad, cue a song that you want to play or whatever. I mean, there's stuff that I never would have listened to. Unless being here. So yeah, it's cool.
I guess back to that summer special, I think that success was super helpful for us. Getting everybody in here and seeing the gym, and then being able, have all those new people in there. They'll tell their friends, and their friends will tell their friends, and then building on that momentum. And like, I don't want to be. I'm not even going to mention it because I was going to mention about like the success of the gym and building on that momentum, but I don't even think. I think that's important for a business standpoint, but as far as personal relations go, I could give a damn. I mean,
right.
I'd rather more people be in here, and then come September when college students come back and we can build on that even further.
People,
I think that'll be fantastic.
Our summer special just ended. It was a hit. I mean, just even for future things this summer, if we want to do something else too, is huge that we've already had that momentum.
Yeah.
I think just kind of broke the ice and got it out there. So
for sure, and that could open up like when students go on winter break, if they're still here in town. The rec is closed. What if we just do like a winter break special?
Mm-hmm.
And then, next summer we could add more events to it, like have like an open gym or some kind of kickoff event for another summer special. I mean,
I think we could definitely do one too. Like, kind of do obviously we'll do a back to school thing, but definitely just kind of a low price for students that are coming back just to try it out for like a month.
Mm-hmm. I'll say, we've had some like back to school specials in the past, and I think that's definitely something we can look at again too, because the more people we get to see and the more new faces, I don't know, the happier I get. And that's just kind of seeing new people coming in here and working and getting better the same way that a lot of previous people have.
Yeah,
so that's cool. Always helpful for me to see anyway. Gosh, we've hopped around a little bit. I don't even remember where we're at anymore.
I don't know. I feel like we've just about everything though.
We've hit pretty good. I guess I want, on the same note, like an open gym. I think it'd be good if we did another one of those. Maybe when school came back, we could try another one this summer. We still got a little bit of time.
Yeah, we've got a few different events. Obviously 4th of July is around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Big holiday. So
I say if we could bring a grill and make some burgers and tacos. And
that's what's up.
I don't know if people want to spend their 4th of July at the gym.
Not on the 4th, but
I don't.
Maybe
I don't think too many people will. And the issue in Lincoln is you're gonna light them off 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, maybe the weekend before. I mean, even if it was like the 2nd or the 1st, I mean, people are always down for that.
So that'd be fun. I think the other thing I want to talk about on that like open gym topic is I just kind of want to shout out Troy at LPT for his work. Because I know as far as physical therapy goes, he's been into an open gym with us in the past. Our head trainer Matt, he's got a couple hours at his clinic, just kind of shadowing and working for him. And I think a couple members here have gone to see him. I think he's probably a great asset to have, like at least in our wheelhouse, so that we can refer people to. And then similarly, I think a few more people know about the Body Lab and going to see Rachel. I just went and saw Rachel recently. They just celebrated their 3-year Body Lab birthday too, I think yesterday.
That's awesome.
Really happy for their success too, because they also just incorporated a physical therapist in their office.
There you go.
Rachel, she's a chiropractor. She also, she certified to do all the dry needling stuff and knows a whole lot about body physiology and understanding how you work and being able to give you some tips. Like I went and saw her and she fixed my squat stance, and then she fixed my squat stance and noticed that like something else was wrong. And so she and I had a couple of visits with her. one a while back on fixing my squat stance, as well as just an AC joint issue, and then I just went back recently on what was it? Oh, I went because I was a little worried about my squat again. It wasn't stance, it was just kind of possible hip shift, or like shifting to the side, and like just kind of didn't feel right. And then she just noticed my hips are unreasonably tight, and so that was really nice. She just gave me a quick 5-minute exercise routine to do, and that was
stretching a little
super
bit.
Easy. Yeah, and she's super knowledgeable, and if you also have other physical therapy concerns too, having what's her name, Jamie? Yeah, I have another one there, Jamie, and they just have her there too now too.
That's cool that they're both in the same place.
100%.
I mean, you can just kind of get it all knocked out. I think a lot of people have the misconception of that they're not going to be fixed if they go to a place like that. There's so many times, me personally, and I've seen others, you go to a place and they'll tell you one or two things and immediately makes a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, Troy at LPT, I don't know if it was him or if it was someone else, but I definitely went there to get physical therapy when I had an SI joint problem. Great work.
I know, because Troy does a whole lot more too. He's also, I think, certified in acupuncture and dry needling and stuff like that. And cool. I went to him when I had some low back issues, and he's like, yeah, your hips are tight and your calves are tight. And so he gave me a couple things for that. And I don't know, I think the people that we can refer our members to if they have issues I'm super thankful for them.
Yeah.
I'm super thankful that we have those people here for sure. So that was my little shout out to Rachel and Troy and Jamie as well. But I think that was all I had on this first page. I don't know what's next anymore. I guess we can go on the same topic on recovery. Same topic, going to the body lab to get shit checked out if it doesn't feel right.
Right.
Recovery, I think, is far more important than the actual training itself.
Yeah.
I guess when you were at UNL, what kind of practices and procedures did your trainers give you in between sessions, or recovery information that they wanted you to take care of?
We would always be encouraged to go see the trainer, really get a good stretch and kind of cool down. I mean, warm up and cool down are very important in any sport, but definitely track. You don't want to skip it. Otherwise it's going to be a problem in the future. Even if you just got done with the workout, you feel loose, you feel good, you still want to get a good stretch in, 10 to 15 minutes worth of stretching your body. I had some issues, like I said, with my SI joint. I bruised my heel landing in the plant box one time, so I had to do a lot of kind of PT work for that. That would just be a lot of going to the trainers, sitting in the stem, or the what's it called, game something.
Oh, the game ready.
Icing it. Just really all that prep work. If you have an injury or you're hurt, it's basically the warm up and the cool down, but for that particular piece, and you focus on that. I mean, the trainers there are just so great. I mean, I feel like any trainer I've ever met has just been a great person. Even if I've had them high school, maybe a little bit different story, but
we don't need to get into that.
Any collegiate trainer that I've had has been amazing. I mean, they're just so nice and really want to see you get better so you can compete at your highest potential. So, I mean, recovery, is just huge. It's rest days, warm up, cool down. Biggest thing.
So I don't want to shit on high school trainers by any means, but there's a reason that trainers are working for colleges and not schools. I don't need to get in. I don't need to get into that whole thing, but I definitely concur. My high school coach was, so they're definitely working for a college, not a high school, for a reason.
Yep.
I think the other thing that you mentioned, the warm up and cool down, I have always held true to the idea that stretching is okay, especially after workout. It's okay. You can help relieve a little bit of the lactic acid buildup. You can kind of stretch out those muscle fibers. And my high school coach you should stretch to make sure the muscle fibers that you just tore like stay tore so they can heal. I'm like, I don't know if that's true.
That makes sense.
The idea might be there. I don't know if that's true at all. But I think my biggest thing that I started doing, and I heard it from someone, something on social media. I know that, but I don't remember who he was. Oh, nope, never mind. His big thing was like motion is lotion. Like when you're warming up, you want to move and prime your body to like be ready to do what it needs to. So like that warm up is definitely super important, and like not just sitting there stretching, because static stretching should be done afterwards, whereas dynamic stuff should be done ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
And like moving that muscle the way it needs to be moved, I think is a far better warm up than just anything else.
Yeah, I think the older that you get, the more warm up you need.
Yeah.
I noticed even just from high school athletics to college athletics, I mean, our warm up, you added 20, 30 minutes to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a lot more, like you said, just motion and really those big movements to get that mobility and that kind of stretch to be loose. I think our warm up would be around 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah. And that's definitely important. And a lot of people that come into the gym, I do it sometimes too. But like you get in here and you just want to work. You just want to start going. But then the older you get, the harder it gets to get loose and get started. And the more you actually start focusing on your warm up. Whereas like if you focused on your warm up now, you're gonna have less issues. In the future.
I mean, it's just like anything, cooking food. You don't want to take 30 minutes to cook a nice meal because you're hungry. No. But if you want the benefit of it, you got to take the time to cook it.
For sure.
So just getting something quick.
Yeah. So I think if you have minimal time, just make sure to stretch some of those move some of those key areas that are going to hurt, like your hip flexors and your internal and external rotation of your hips, and making sure like if you're squatting, do some freaking bodyweight squats and like warm up your low back and do, banded good mornings, do super simple stuff. It's a movement pattern.
Yeah.
Where you're warming up a movement. You're not. Yeah. I don't know. And I think that's super important. I think people should start doing a little more of that, because then if you also do that like on your off days, and there's plenty of people now that say like active recovery should be done, because if you're sore, you want to work that lactic acid out. And the only way to do so, you can either wait for it to, leave by itself, or you can move around in a very lightweight, like low intensity, higher volume movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your biceps are sore, just grab a band and do like a bunch of sets and a bunch of reps, just a super low fatiguing movement, and it'll help work that lactic acid out. And I think that's definitely super important on your off days too, because then you're going to feel fresh going into the next one. And another big key to that too is, I'm not completely switching, but a little bit, is like, as far as recovery goes, like if you don't sleep well, if you don't eat right, if you don't make sure you're hydrated, if all of these things are not like put together and you're not ready to go, like your workout is not going to be as good.
Yeah.
Like if you were going on a road trip, would you leave with your car at like a half tank, or would you fill a full tank before you go? Like there is no point in trying to start a workout when your tank's only half full.
Yeah.
You can, and like I'm sure, and people do it, but like you're going to feel a whole lot better if you have that full tank and you're fully recovered.
Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to half-ass it. I mean, if you want to see results in anything that you're doing, you need to put in that work. You always hear coaches say during practice, this is what matters, like even in the preseason, like this is what's going to win games. That's what they always say. And it's true. I mean, if you're practicing that early and you're getting that recovery, hydrating, eating right, stretching, getting warm, cooling down, and doing all of that, that's going to help you when it comes to game time or when you need to compete at a meet or something. So, I mean, you can't push that enough.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like if you instill that in athletes young, they're gonna have far less issues growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, there was another podcast I watched where there was a dude talking about how he went and saw a physical therapist, and the dude was shocked because this guy's shoulders were like in perfect health, where he's been powerlifting at that point for 25 years, and you expect him to be absolutely destroyed. But
right.
when he was in college, one of his instructors like showed him, and his big thing that he talked about was overhead pressing, and he showed him like when you put the body in that position to overhead press and then you actually press through it. He used a cadaver, because it was an anatomy lab. He used a cadaver to show him like what the shoulder joint was doing during that pressing movement, and he's like, this, you can do it, but like your shoulders are not meant to move that way.
Right.
And so he went and saw this physical therapist and was like, what have you been doing? Like, you've been powerlifting for 25 years. Your shoulders are like the epitome of health. Like, it makes no sense at all.
That's crazy.
And he focuses like, if you're gonna, and some sports need pressing movements. That's just the truth. But like, if you're making sure that the movements that are secondary to that main press and like those joints and those muscles are healthy to help you do so, it's gonna be a whole lot better off in the long run. Whereas like pressing, rear delts and triceps. So then, and there's been a couple things that have said like your rear delts are super important for almost everything.
Yeah.
It's a huge stabilizer.
It's just crazy to me too how different sports use different muscles, and you could do a movement and like use something you never used before or don't use. I mean, like pole vaulting, there's very specific muscles that you use that no one really ever works. Mm-hmm. That's why, like you mentioned, pressing and stuff, like that's like half of like all that we do. Because if you're like, you need to get your hands up and be strong with them and like really press up. I mean, that is literally, my shoulders are probably fucked after hearing that. But it is just weird, like especially if you haven't done cardio or don't run a lot, you start running and you're like, dang. Or if you walk, like my parents, they've ran and walked marathons, and the muscles that you're using in like a jog run versus just walking, it's like they're different. And you wouldn't really think that, but
yeah, for sure. And I guess on that like recovery and making sure you're eating well and sleeping well, we can go into the eating well a little bit, because you found, I didn't even know they exist till you texted me yesterday, these like things at Target.
Yeah, I call it like a meal prep, but I've never seen them before, and I think it's a great idea because, as we mentioned in a previous podcast, or like that meal prep section is like, I don't really know what to cook or what to go and buy when I'm gonna meal prep. So they started offering these bags, and they basically have everything that you need, every item in order to cook a meal. And they're ranged from $14 to $17. I've had, I think, the chicken teriyaki with broccoli and rice. They gave me like a bag of like pre-cooked, just like these like not shredded chicken, but just
strips.
Yeah, chicken,
grilled strips.
Yeah,
of kind, yeah.
It was like grilled strips of chicken, probably about like a pound.
Oh wow.
And then they gave me a big thing, a bag of broccoli, an entire bottle of like the teriyaki sauce, and then a thing of like the just like jasmine or whatever rice it was. Everything was like super easy. The only thing I had to cook in a pan, like I cooked the chicken in a pan, reheated it, had the broccoli and the rice in the microwave, and then I added it to the pan. I mean, just like super easy. And I could probably get 2, maybe 3 meals out of that.
Yeah.
For just $15.
Yeah.
And so like for someone like me who didn't really, I mean, obviously you could look at all the details with all the numbers, what calories and macros and all that kind of stuff. But like for me, I don't really need all that detail right now. But I just thought it was cool. I'm like, I could go in there, each week and have preset, don't have to go look for anything or worry about pricing or what. Like everything is listed of what everything is in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Multiple different options. There's like probably 7 different things. I mean, the other one I said was they were like pork sliders. So it was shredded pork that was like this. It was. I'm blanking right now. Jack, like whiskey pork, like marinated pork with Hawaiian rolls as the buns for the sliders with breaded onions and this really good mac and cheese. I'm like, this is insane. Yeah. So, I mean, I just wish there was more stuff like that out there that was more detailed. Like if I went online and wanted to say like I wanted to go to Hy-Vee or something to get a meal prep for the week. If there was a list of something that said, had all the numbers and what you were looking for. I mean, there's probably people out there that you like pay to do that for you, but
there definitely is. And I know there's like a couple of those meal prep services, like HelloFresh has it. There's a couple like Factor's another one. Icon Meals, and then Chris Bumstead just has like I don't remember who he's partnered with. The
GOAT.
But there's a couple that do that, but on that too, the issue is like it might be cheaper than groceries in the long run, but at least for me, when I'm looking at it, you have to buy like 16 meals in each box up front.
Yeah.
And like buying those meals up front, I don't know, it just feels more expensive than grocery stores for me. And I'm sure in the long run it's not. But like they come in boxes, they come in prepackaged stuff you just throw in the microwave. But
I know it's like just like instructions on. There's this one like it's a Eat Fit Go.
Oh yeah.
Do they even have that around anymore?
There used to be one downtown. I don't think they're there anymore.
Because there was one out by like South Point. And like a little strip right by the Famous Dave's, and they had great stuff. I mean, you could go in there and get however many meals and take them, and they're just easy microwave stuff. But yeah, I don't know.
They're definitely super nice, and they work well because if you're gonna go out and buy food and they have that option there, it's at least gonna be healthier and probably for a similar price than.
Yeah,
going to McDonald's. Like if you go to 100%. McDonald's and you get a meal, it might be $8 to $12 depending on what you get. Versus you can probably get one of those for a similar price. It's going to be a whole lot healthier for you.
Dude, Runza is expensive now.
I know. There's so
like I will go and spend $20 myself at Runza. It's like, how is that even a thing?
So we don't need to get into the whole politics of that, but like inflation and everything has just gotten so ridiculous now.
Yeah,
I used to be able to grocery shop meal prep for like $70 a week.
Yeah,
I'm doing like 90 to 110 right now.
At least, yeah.
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
It sucks. I mean, what's nice too is having a Sam's membership or Costco, getting something in bulk for cheaper, that's really nice.
You got to be dedicated to the snacks you get, though. Like, my fiance, she went and she got a box of Wheat Thins from Sam's. Now, this thing is like this big.
Yeah,
and you got to be dedicated to eating that many Wheat Thins.
Yep.
It works, don't get me wrong.
Some Wheat Thins. What kind were they? Were they just the regular?
I think they were just the regular, yeah.
So they're still good.
The other thing, like, you just got to... I went because for my breakfast, I'll have a breakfast shake, and it's oats, egg whites, creatine, protein, peanut butter, and a banana. Bless you.
Thank you.
And when I went to Sam's to get all that stuff, they have like Quaker Oats is in a big box with 2 bags inside this box. I don't even think I'm halfway through the first bag.
Dang.
And it's been like 3 or 4 weeks.
That's pretty sweet, though.
It's super nice, but you got to be super dedicated to what you're eating at that point. Because
you have to give me that shake for your egg whites. Is that you just get that in a carton,
Yeah, Sam's actually has a pack of 6 cartons, 6 8-ounce cartons in a box, and it's 6 16-ounce cartons, or something like that. And then I just use half of one.
Have you made that in one of your videos? Your shake?
No. I feel like I should
do that. Because
similarly,
I want something like, I mean, you mentioned like shakes is like a lot easier way to get all what you want and just such a small thing. Like that's what I need to. Like I'm not a huge breakfast guy, but I wake up starving.
Yeah.
Like I'm so hungry, and like I just grab a granola bar or something. So if I had something like that, I feel like I would.
And it's nice too. The only issue is you gotta like bananas, because bananas are gonna overpower the taste of that.
I love bananas.
That's good then. Similarly, whatever flavor your protein powder is, that's basically it's gonna be bananas and that flavor. You're not gonna get much else, because oats are pretty bland because they're just regular oats. Very bland. Egg whites are just, they taste like nothing. They taste like nothing, and so. And then you get maybe a little bit of peanut butter in there. That's what I do. But otherwise, it's the banana and the protein powder, and that is the flavor of that shake. So you got to make sure you like both. I've also heard some people doing, and it's less overpowering, avocado. Makes it, because bananas, it's, people use them for the consistency.
Yeah.
I've heard avocado does the same thing, which just makes it creamy.
Interesting.
Now, you also... I've never tried it, so I don't know if you have to really like avocado, if it would take over the flavor like a banana would.
Well, that's the tough thing about avocados, it has to be in season.
Yeah.
Because I've had a bad avocado and it sucks. Just disgusting.
Yeah.
But what kind of flavor protein do you use?
I usually use chocolate.
Chocolate?
Yeah.
So yeah, like chocolate, peanut butter, banana.
Pretty much. It's pretty good.
That's what's up. I've got I think the last one, I have vanilla and I have strawberry cream.
For my very first protein powder I bought for myself was it was from Super Saver. It was like this Body Fortress is I think what was it was called. It was a strawberry flavor. That was the very first one I bought.
Strawberry?
Yeah. It took me a while to like it. Mainly because
vanilla.
Yeah, that's fair. Mainly mine was I mixed it with 16 ounces of water. And so trying to do a single scoop of protein powder and that much water does not taste very good at all.
Dude, I gotta have milk.
I've gotten pretty good at water. Now I also only do like 6 ounces of water with a whole scoop, and I'll slam it back in like 3 seconds, so it's done.
Yeah, I gotta have. I like it with milk just because then it tastes like a shake.
That's fair.
Like a dessert. I also use vitamin D milk. I don't know if that's good or bad.
It's it's whole milk. It's delicious.
Yeah,
it's full fat, but it's delicious.
Hey, that's what I need. My skinny bot over here.
The other thing with my breakfast shakes is I don't put ice in it. I just cover it with water to add it a little easier to blend, and then just throw it on. You can add ice. You can do milk instead. You can do water. I mean, I just do water because I just tap in there, close it up, put it on, and I'm done.
Yeah.
You can add milk for sure. Back when I
make it a little more thicker with milk, maybe.
Let's do Greek yogurt. Yeah, I did Greek yogurt for a little bit, and then I cut back the amount of calories it ran because I was eating like a 900 calorie shake every morning. I'm like, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
So I cut that back a little bit. Shake. But yeah, I mean, I can definitely throw up that video because I make it every morning.
Do it.
Similar, you should next time you go to Target, just kind of record a little bit of you picking up that bag of meal prep thing, and then maybe make it.
Yeah,
kind of show that one.
Okay. This is also super random because we're talking about protein and shakes and stuff. Is creatine bad?
No.
Okay, so
there are hundreds of peer-reviewed studies that show like you should take creatine as a teen, as an adult, as someone old, even if you don't lift, even if you do lift, especially there's so much information floating around in my head about why, but there's peer-reviewed studies that show you should take creatine. And I don't remember off the top of my head what it does for you, but it does this and this and this and this, and it's super helpful.
So when I started taking it, I was kind of in my prime. I was like trying to be a decathlete, and I put on a lot of it just made me look bulky, that water weight.
Yeah.
It made me look bulky, but I think it gave me extra strength too, because there's something about how it matches some sort of, I don't know, I saw this video about there was a 3 thing, and then whenever you exert energy you get rid of it, but if you have creatine it adds it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's some body energy processes, ATP, all that fun stuff. Yeah. The most peer-reviewed form of it is creatine monohydrate.
Yeah.
HCl you can do. It's just a little different. I don't even remember because I've taken monohydrate now for a few years. And some people will notice when they first start taking it, like you might get a little bit of water weight. Now, you shouldn't hold on to that water, and it won't make you bulky. It won't make you fat. And creatine is naturally occurring in our body. We get it from it's creatinine. I don't remember. You can get a little bit from red meat. It naturally occurs. So adding that 5 grams a day, it's not really.
So would that be bad to throw in with the protein?
No, I do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just have the powder creatine?
Yeah.
I had it for a while, but I thought there was a thing where it's like you shouldn't do it past like a 3-month period. But you can take it every day and be fine?
Yeah, you can take it as a maintenance kind of.
That's cool.
Every day.
Get me some supplements.
We can try and link a couple peer-reviewed studies in the description if we want, or you can we can find one. You can throw up a picture of it right now.
Need to go to Goliath.
Yeah. But yeah, no, creatine's totally fine. There's hundreds of peer-reviewed studies that show you should absolutely take it, and I think, yeah, absolutely. I've never had an issue with it. When I first started taking it, I think I had a different form. It did make me a little bloated, put on a little bit of water weight. But at the same time, I think I read too, if you're drinking enough water, it shouldn't.
I'm starting my summer training next week, so I need to just get back in shape and just start, like we said, just doing everything right from recovery and what I'm eating and stretching and maintenance, really.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. I think that was all I pretty much had.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing I wanted to mention on that meal prep stuff is this was just kind of a quick aside that I saw on Instagram, I think, as far as like quality foods go. So Mike Tyson, when he was in his prime and fighting heavyweight and holding his title, his mom made all of his meals. And I think that's something to be said about quality, just home-cooked meals and just less processed shit. When I moved in with my grandma, sophomore year of college, just lived in her basement. It was great. She cooked for me. Sounds awesome. Breakfast and dinner because I was at school for lunch.
Yeah.
When I first moved in, I put on a little bit of weight because you're living with your grandma. She's gonna feed you.
You're eating good.
But at the same time, I felt good. My body weight eventually went back to normal, and like quality meals and quality home cooked good food is fantastic, and there's nothing like a grandma's cooking either.
Nope. Well, that goes into like the time thing too. You know, like taking the time to get warmed up, but taking the time to cook and make that quality stuff. You know, if someone else is making it for you, that makes it easy.
Yeah.
You know, if you're living at home with a relative or something, but take that time to cook. Treat yourself.
Yeah. I say we talked about it a little bit last week too, but definitely make sure your body is working optimally, and that will multivitamin, home cooked meals, hydration, sleep, all that fun stuff. I don't think I have anything else unless you do.
No, just take care of yourself.
Yeah, please.
Maintenance.
It's getting hot. Drink water. That's it. Caffeine, carbs, and kilos. Love y'all. Bye.
Later.